put the other part aside, and you might want some scratch paper so you can kind of take notes on this. What we're going to make today is one of these. This is the best one I had made today, but probably because the guy who made this actually works at a sheet metal shop. What they do is they actually cut out the sheet metal and put boxes together for things like air conditioner jacks, the air conditioning, vent units, those kinds of things. Ready? Take that out, please. If you plan ahead, it ends up looking like this. If you don't plan ahead and just kind of cut it as it goes, it tends to not fit together quite so well. Now, we're going to be either making a box or a pyramid. Your pyramid, the thing looks like this. You've got your square base, and then you have your four sides for your pyramid. Or you're going to have, this one didn't work out quite so well, but you get the idea. You're going to have your net. Now, we're going to start with the pyramid because I think it's, actually no, I'm going to start with the box. What I'm going to do for your test, today you're just going to get a practice one, but for your test, what's going to happen is, I'm going to give you a specific sized box, or possibly a pyramid. It might be a prism of some kind. And what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to give you the dimensions, and you'll have to create your own net, write it down, put it on the cardboard, cut it out, and put it together before the end of the period. It's a pretty tough test. This one happens to be, we're going to make it 5 centimeters wide, 20 centimeters this way, and 30 centimeters this way. What I'd like you to do is see if you can sketch on your scratch paper, see if you can sketch the net for this thing. Then I'll show you some mistakes that people made today and how to fix that. It doesn't have to be to scale, it just has to be just a real quick estimate, okay? Doesn't even have to be perfectly straight. Because when we do the actual net, then we'll draw it straighter. What you'll want to do is draw your sides. One trick is to look at the perimeter, right? Y'all understand why I want the perimeter? How far around it is will tell me how long this thing is going to be. Y'all see why? I'll show you. Take a look. From here to here is 20. Then I go to here, yeah? Then I have to come 20 more. And then these 5 centimeters. And how far is that in total? 50 centimeters in all. What you want to do is when you actually when you make this, you're going to want to draw that one straight line for your design. That way you don't have to draw a whole bunch of different boxes, right? Just want to draw one long line, 50 centimeters long. One mistake people made was that they tried to put their small ones together and their big ones together. If you put the two small ones at the end, when you fold it, it doesn't work out right. Because these have to be opposite. Do you understand? They have to be in between the 20s. Your 5s have to be in between, right here. And of course, it's going to be 30 centimeters high. And we have a 5. One way to make sure that you've got right angles here is by measuring from both sides, right? That gives you nice right angles. But you can also use the edge of your ruler. Anybody see how I did that? You can use the edge of your ruler as a right angle. So that you can create right angles, you can just use the edge just like a T-square. That gives you a nice right angle as well. See what I mean? Not as accurate as a T-square. In fact, you could use a protractor if you wanted to measure it and make sure that it's actually at the 90-degree angle, right? Make sure it's right at your 90. So you'll want to do one or the other. What's the problem with this box? What's it missing? Top and the bottom. A couple of mistakes people made. First of all, the biggest mistake was putting the two small sides together and the two big sides together, and then it didn't fold correctly. The other mistake a few people made was that they wanted to make their top like this. What happens is, if you make your top like that, it doesn't fit because this is too long. This is like 60 centimeters altogether, and it ended up being too long and it didn't work out. So what I recommend is, instead of that, here's my top. And here's my bottom. Whoop. Right there. And this, of course, is going to be 5 by 20 and 5 by 20. Now, one other thing that you can add to this, and I'm going to make a new sketch here, just real quick. What you're going to want to do on your poster board it's just barely 50 wide, so if you want to waste less space, you could actually draw your 30 by 50 along here, right? But you need to plan ahead, because you need to remember you still have that 5 down here, don't you? So doesn't this need to be 35 right here? Everybody follow why? And then this is going to be your 30. This piece right here is going to be your 5 by 20 right there. Now, this is going to be your 5. That's going to be your 20. That's going to be your 5. And that's going to be your 20 over here. And you're still going to need a top. Y'all see what I mean? And then you're just going to have a little bit left over right over here that you're going to cut out. What it'll mean is less cutting for you. If you plan it ahead so that you use as much of the, you use as little of the poster board as possible, if you don't cut it out in the middle, it ends up using less of it and you don't waste as much. Now the other thing you're going to want to include is you might want to give yourself just a little bit more than 35, maybe 38, and include tabs. When you make tabs, it lets you put the thing together a little bit nicer. The more tabs you have, the easier it is to fold over the tabs, and you can put them on the outside and on the inside, and it makes it work out better. One of the problems you run into with the box is that if there's no tabs, the sides tend to move in. See what I mean? How they and there's nothing to hold it, there's nothing to back it up. Even if you tape it really nice, and this one was really well made, it still tends to come apart when you're pushing on it. If you have tabs, it holds together better.